Hey guys, one much on the video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Friday afternoon. I hope we are all okay. We're all well. We're all looking forward to a good weekend, wherever it is that you're up to this weekend. Obviously, enjoy it. We've obviously got football back today. We've obviously got the 2 Euro games, potentially two games that you could have expected to potentially be finals in Spain, Germany, and France, Portugal. But in this video, though, we are talking a little bit around a report on Ange and his attitude towards the next couple of weeks and what he'd like to basically have done in that time. We'll be talking about the sort of idea around strikers. Are they up next? Is it later into the window? We've got conflicting reports on that. We're going to be talking about this report around AC Milan and their interesting value of Emerson Royal. We're talking about Federico Chiesa, Doue, Pedro Neto. There's a lot to talk about in this video, so plenty to get into, plenty to talk about. Do you want to say, though, if you're watching this and you're new, please subscribe. You're very much welcome to join us for the journey. I've probably missed a few comments, but hey, Van Gogh, mate, how are we? Hey, Adiz, mate. Well, I'll talk about Emerson in a minute. Yeah, hi, Ollie, mate. You're right. We won't be going for Brahim Diaz. Hey, Kamagoon, mate. You okay? Well, we're gonna be talking about Chiesa in a bit of detail. So just give me a second on that front. I'll say. Evening, Tottenham. You mean afternoon? Hey, Spurs, mate. How are you? Hey, Christian. Hey, hello, Polly. How are we? Hey, Dragon, mate. You're right. Hey, D, mate. You okay? Yeah. Anyway, let's sort of jump into it. I got a lot of this on my phone. I was at the gym when I saw all these things, so bear with me. So let's start with the first report around Ange and his attitudes next couple of weeks, okay? By the way, if anyone joins and they kind of go, what have I missed? If you guys in the chat could just tell them, that'd be appreciated because I've got a lot to talk about, so I won't remember absolutely everything. So I appreciate if you could do that. But anyway, let's talk what Paul O'Keefe said. So first thing he said, he talks about that Ange's attitude towards the next sort of 2 to 3 weeks. He said Ange wants a couple of new faces in within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Coaching staff will meet tomorrow, and players are in for testing Saturday, then training Sunday. Interesting report on that front. Obviously, that would be at the coaching staff meeting today. So, do you know what? I think probably in the next couple of days we'll see things, I reckon, starting to speed up. Look, who they are and who the players are is difficult to guess, because if you talk about the players that we linked to, you know, Eze, Gallagher, Tony, Neto, Jonathan David, you know, there's loads, but just on that front, they're all still international football. I mean, I think Canada played today, or they've played today. I don't know, but they've been at international football, so nothing's going to be happening in that front, right? Desiree Doue going to be going off to the Olympics. He's going to be a little while off. So there's no one that we really truly are going for, in my opinion, that isn't going to be delayed due to all this sort of international football arc, you know? 7 a.m. in Canada. Good morning. Good morning, Peter. How are you? Evening, Ren. When I saw Romano say Juve's definitely saying Chiesa, I've got a bit... Yeah, honestly, Callum, as soon as I saw that, I was like, Pratici, I'm going to need you to do something for me, buddy. Afternoon, John, you're right. Hey, Les, mate, you're right. Yeah, Bellingham has a 1-match ban. Yeah, he's allowed to play tomorrow. We'll see when that match ban kicks in. Hey, Oscar, mate, you okay? Afternoon, Sonia, you're right. So yeah, I don't know what you guys think about that side of things. You know, he wants at least a couple of new faces in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, our first preseason game is in 12 days' time, so there could be a point where they kind of go, look, we want to get at least 1 or 2 in potentially by that game, potentially. But obviously, we play 3 days after that, so maybe it's like, let's get at least them in by that game. Maybe a kind of... Obviously, the world works in mysterious ways, and deals can happen quickly. You know, you got to think, do England go out tomorrow, and do they push for Gallagher? Do they push for a Tony? Do they push for an Eze? You know, is it that kind of thing? Is it, well, Portugal go out today? They push for Pedro Neto today. Let's just wait and see on that front. You know, I think there's a lot of chips that still need to fall. You know, Calafiero, I think Ollie will be going to Arsenal. Afternoon, Louis Kleiner Gaines. What a name that is. Evening, Lex, mate. You're right. Afternoon, Tom. I do think we move that quickly, though. Well, like I said, a lot of chips have to fall first. Just to give you an update, he did also, Paul O'Keefe did also say Eze is still an option. So that deal isn't dead and buried. is still an option. Pardon me. So let's then move on to the striker situation. I'm going to talk about that next because we had the first report that I saw. Nizar Kinsella said that Spurs are keen to sign a forward as their next big transfer after securing Archie Gray, right? The conflicting side of that was someone asked Paul O'Keefe, Paul, just wondering what the chances of us signing a centre forward. And he said, one to watch late in the window. And that, for me, is because of the fact that all the strikers that we're keen on are playing international football, bar one or two. You know, Xerxes in the Dutch squads, Jonathan David, Canada, Tony, England, you know. The only ones you could say that aren't is, you know, maybe Slanky and Yorkeres and players like that, but they're actually going to be the more expensive ones, which is the ironic thing of that, you know. So I think striker they'll go for, but when they go for it, I really don't know because these were conflicting reports. I really, really don't know. So we shall see on that side of things. I don't know when you guys think that we will, but let's see. Well, let's see what Southgate plays for tomorrow. I have no issues with us not having a clue until the game actually an hour and 15 before the game kicks off, because I'd rather not give opposition teams time to adjust and plan for things. As much as today's media wants news now, I'd rather England do better than, you know, Sky Sports News have any information, you know. Lancashire give me a good chance, I hope. Well, he'll get time in pre-season, hopefully. Late in the window, says Tony to me, last year of contract. Yeah, maybe it should try and, you know, make Brentford sweat. Is that the idea they're going for? Make Brentford sweat, push them towards breaking point, and then try and get them for a deal that suits you more than it suits them, potentially. So moving on, let's talk Emerson Royal next. Nizar Kinsella again said Tottenham are open to keeping Emerson Royal. Now, please listen to this before you jump down anyone's throats. Spurs are open to keeping Emerson Royal if they won't get more than just a cut price fee in return. AC Milan have shown a big interest on the player's side, but are hoping to sign him for £10 million. So let's call it 13 million euros. Spurs want about £17 million. So an extra 7 million Spurs wants. Now, a couple of things here. One, I think this could be a potential smokescreen by Spurs to kind of say, look, if you want him, you're going to have to come to the table and play ball. Otherwise, we'll keep him. Which, please, Spurs, don't do that to me. Just don't do that to me, all right? I can't do this. But I also think this is trying to push AC Milan back to the negotiation table and back to an idea of saying, look, we do actually, you know, you want this guy? Do you actually want this guy? Because 10 million shows you don't truly want him. Do you want him? You do. We've come off wanting about 25 million euros to 20 million euros, and you've not budged. So how much do you truly want him? We're happy to help you, but you've got to come and actually chat to us about these things, you know. I still think Emerson gets sold. I do. He wants to move. AC Milan, I'm going to say want him. I mean, they're not really showing that they want him all that much. They don't really have the power in the situation. Spurs are going, well, he's under contract. We don't need to sell him if we don't want to. We'll keep him, which hopefully makes AC Milan kind of go, right, we probably do need to offer actually an all right offer. I think AC Milan can get him for about 15 million. I actually do. But 10 million is an absolute joke, because I guarantee, had we try and bought Emerson Royal from AC Milan this summer, they try and charge us 30 to 40 million. You already know they would. So it swings and roundabouts. Come to the table, offer an actual offer, because 10 million is not an actual offer. That is a half-assed attempt at trying to buy a player. Offer an actual offer, work on it, get the deal sorted. Because for a couple of weeks now, we've been told he wants to move. Contract's not going to be an issue. Just the clubs need to talk now. And the fact we've only found out that they've offered basically 10 million shows that they're not really trying. But they want to sign Matty Cash, who's going to cost about 30 million. Welcome to Italian football, I guess. Well, Dean, Palace won't need to sell as if they've sold Elise. Don't forget that. Big up, Andy. Currently working. Hope you're well. Can't be here long. That's all right, Joshua. I'm going to be talking about Chiesa. I've already seen the tweets, mate. I've already seen the tweets. So there's that. Right. Let's talk about one other thing Paul O'Keefe said before I talk about Chiesa. And he actually said that there is a chance for Tottenham moving for both Desiree Doue and Pedro Neto. Now, look, Eze's my guy. Eze is my guy. We all know Eze's my guy. You know, I've been pretty on that, right? there's a situation here where if it was Eze or Desiree Doue and Pedro Neto, I'd probably go the Desiree Doue and Pedro Neto move, to be honest. I get two players, which makes me think Spurs think they could probably get Neto on a cut price fee and Desiree Doue for something similar. Maybe those two for 70 million, maybe. Is that what they've kind of gone for? Which if they do, totally on board with, because I was thinking about this and a few of you have said, don't get the striker, stack out the team, play and get the striker next summer. A few of you have said that, which I'm not overly blown away by. But if we take that idea of thinking, let's move it to this way of thinking. Stack out the rest of the team. You go and get a couple of wingers. You keep developing them for another season. You go and get another midfielder. You go and get a couple of fullbacks and maybe a centre-back, right? Maybe that's how you go about it. Then next summer, you go, right, let's go and get Eze. Let's go get a striker. So you're going for two big marquee names next summer because obviously you don't need as many players next summer. And then you go, right, well, actually, we need another this, we need another that. Maybe they go for a backup goalkeeper, maybe that's the vibe they'll go for. But I think, if they think they can get Neto for something closer to, let's say, somewhere between 40 and 50, and then get Desiree Doue for, let's say, around about 30, and we're talking about 70 million, those two players, or Eze for 68. You know what I mean? Like, I think that might be the way I would go, which, as much as it'd be disappointing not to get Eze, we can always get Eze next summer because I think Palace may be more open to sell next summer. His value won't have gone up because he's still got release clause. So as long as he doesn't sign a new contract, they can't ask for more money. I think maybe that's the way they go about it. It's probably not for a lack of trying. If you explain it to someone that go, look, we really want Eze, but they want 60 million up front. No football team in the world does that. You can cut unless they're buying one or two players max. Like Real Madrid could do that for a Jude Bellingham when they're signing like Joselu on loan, or you know what I mean? They're not really, and they're signing Rudiger on a free maybe, but you know what I mean? They're not spending big on anything else. It's just that once they can do that. With Spurs obviously having to spend on 5 or 6 players, you're not going to do that. So maybe that's the way they go. Maybe that's the way we should go. I don't know, potentially, but maybe that's the way we go. What's up, Andy? I'm seeing we seem to be in the lead for Desiree Doue. I hope we can pull off a Nico Williams too. It won't be happening. That Nico Williams won't be happening. But yes, we are in for Desiree Doue. I'll be talking about Chiesa in a second, Callum. Desiree Doue has been quoted at 30 million possibly. With Neto and his injuries would cost about 45, 50. Well, I think you can get, let's say, 45 Neto, 30 million Doue, 75 million. Why couldn't we've got creative like that though? Got it in first with Eze, like 45, 10 million add-ons. It's because, Dean, the whole deal is 68 million. 60 million is the actual release clause plus the 8 million is add-ons. Inside of that deal, supposedly Crystal Palace have structured it in a way that they get a huge chunk of that up front. That's why we're not going to be doing it. Doue and Neto injured all the time. What if someone else gets Eze this summer? Where if they want to spend, something like 60 million all up front, they can, but that is very likely. Scott Parker's the new Burnley manager. That's a weird one. Going from Vincent Kompany, who plays football, an all right football, to Scott Parker. Brutal. 25 minute. Yeah, we're talking about Chiesa in a minute. Trust me, everyone. I'm talking about Chiesa in a minute. Don't worry, I'll get there. I promise. I know I put it in the title. We're working our way along. Honestly, if it wasn't for injuries, Neto would be a perfect Ange winger. Agreed. Neto would be a mistake at any price. Ooh. Well, like I said, Dean, we'll come to Chiesa in a minute, and then we might do a poll on it. We could be creative Eze and offer 70 million, ask pay installments. Again, Caleb, it's the way, man. It's the way that Crystal Palace have set the deal out through the contract of it. They don't need to sell, so they're not going to want to budget unless they're getting the deal that suits them. We'd have to pay 50 million up front for Eze, whilst Doue, he'd be like 34. Well, look, yeah, if you're going to get a Doue for, let's say, 30 million, and you can stretch it over 5 years, you're paying 6 million a year instead of paying nearly 60 in 1 year for Eze, which, don't get me wrong, then from there it's a cheap deal. But you're talking about you would nuke our summer window. Our summer window would be Eze, Werner, and maybe 2 other signings. Maybe. That's how much of a massive impact that would have on this summer. Because when we talk about Spurs could spend 150 million, that is, they could sign 5 or 6 players that can total that amount, but they can spread it out over 5 years. With Eze, he's 68 million. That's pretty much all in 1 year. That's the reason why it's difficult to do it, Well, when we talk about Chiesa, we'll start comparing it with everyone. I want Doue and Eze. I think we leave Eze and go and get a big price striker, potentially. Don't know why it's giving you a thumbs up. Did not give a thumbs up there. Neto's hamstrings will get decimated under Ange, surely. I think we'll sign Eze, Doue, Neto, and no striker, especially as Eze isn't necessary for us right now. We already have Maddison, to be honest. Not as high as Chiesa as others are. What am I missing? The guy can pretty much carry a team on his own at times. Because the thing is, everyone goes, his stats aren't very good. Well, Vlahovic's stats aren't very good, and they play in the same team. So surely it's a cost of the system that they play. Because people sit here and rave about Vlahovic, and I'm like, that means you really rate Chiesa. Oh, I don't really rate Chiesa. Okay, so that's now just an agenda. You have no actual view on that. Because they both play the same team. Both statistically aren't actually very good, but they play some of the worst football Juventus last year. So I think Chiesa in an attacking system, in a team where he isn't the main guy. Like, when you watch Juventus, no one actually scared about Vlahovic. They're scared about Chiesa. If they stop Chiesa, they think they can stop Vlahovic because of stopping him. So if you put him in a team where you go, right, well, actually, there's 2 wingers on the pitch. You're actually the second best because Son's over there. He's the best. So everyone's going to be focused on Son. You'll get a lot of one-on-one action with the fullback. And if he does, Chiesa would cook it, So, but anyway, we'll come to Chiesa in a second. I think we're all, right, pause. We're all a little bit too on this whole Chiesa thing. We're still talking about other players right now. Let's just time out, all right? We have Maddison, Bentancur, Basuma, Bergvall, Gray, Sarr. I don't think we need Eze to go and get a top striker. Bergvall, Doue, Gray at Spurs. Youthful revolution is on. It definitely is. Do you think that a young guy from Rennes FC can take us to another level? Well, he is very young. So once he reaches, let's say, the end of his puberty in his early 20s, he'll be fantastic, I think. Depends if you see Eze as a wing or midfielder. Well, that is true. Is it true that Jimenez is now on the cards with it? Well, Jimenez is still... He's still on the striker list, Neto and Doue what? John Ratcher, give me some backup on that one. I saw a video and we are I don't know what we are Tottenham TV. Don't know that about Dele Alli training and how we can sign him on free. Well, he's a free transfer. Anyone can sign him as long as he wants the move. But we've talked about on this channel, and I think we were quite fair. We love Dele. We wish him all the best. But if he's not going to be someone that is going to add to this team in a big way, don't go near it with a 20-foot pole. Let him train with us, get fitness up, but that's as far as that connection goes if he doesn't offer us what we need. Give the people what they want, Andy. It's coming. Don't worry. It's coming. Here we go. I wondered when it... Why are we putting Brennan Johnson down, KVN, mate? Why are we putting Brennan Johnson down? I don't get that. Prefer Dele to Neto. Now that's an agenda. You want to talk about injury prone? Like, let's be fair there. At least Neto played last season and the season before. Come on. We love Dele. I love Dele. But let's be smart about this. The fact that we have to talk about, quote, puberty and a Premier League footballer in the same sentence is a little bit concerning. Well, this is a young Archie Gray still going through his, And when you're 18 as a male, you're still going through your puberty, aren't you? Chiesa's defensive tracking back was excellent in Euros. He can beat a man and score beautiful goals. It's completely subjective, but this completation just does something for me. Well, you've put no completation in there for you, mate. Brennan is a star in the making. All these Arsenal fans calling Gray. Yeah, yeah, it's weird. I don't know why. Dele didn't play because Everton are cheap. Dele didn't play, mate, because he was having surgery. I don't know if you knew that. He was having surgery and he was injured pretty much all year. Can't post links. Well, send it to me. Send it to me on Instagram or Twitter, mate, and I'll have a look. It's in the description of the video. Brennan is in for a very big season. I can't wait. Yeah, let's back him. Let's back Brennan Johnson. Let's not put him down. We're not going to be. We're not that channel here. And if you think we're that channel, my door's over there, but you can very much leave the door. Just leave, because I'm not here to put players down. I'll give you an example. I don't really rate Emerson. If he stays, he stays. I'll back him. But, we should be looking to improve. I still think he's a decent player. And in the Serie A, I think he'd be brilliant. But I'm not going to put him down. Okay? Defensively, very solid. Attacking, limited. That's fair. I'm not saying anything outrageous there, am I? Delhi should go to a top-end championship club and rebuild himself like Barkley did. Well, hang on, Madzi. Barkley flopped in France. He then came back to the Premier League. He never went to the Championship. He went to a newly promoted side from the Championship to the Premier League, but he never went to the Championship. And Delhi is way too good for the Championship. Let's not waste a year of the boy's career when he's too good for that league, You don't have social media accounts, Callum. What are we doing? Good on you, though, mate. If you don't have them, good on you. Only positive of Emerson is that he brings good vibes in the dressing room and he does give his best. Why don't we end the whole Son era and go and sign Williams? Because, right, hang on. So Son is the captain. He had 25 goal contributions in the Premier League last season, right? He's on less money than Nico Williams, had much better output than Nico Williams. He's still a better player than Nico Williams. He plays two different positions compared to Nico Williams. I don't know what I'm missing there. Maybe Nico Williams is God's greatest gift, but I've just kind of been like, well, Son is still brilliant. 25 goal contributions in the Premier League, whilst you miss time and you're flying across the world every 6 weeks. I think Son had a really good season. Do you think Spurs have a real good chance in the group stages of the Europa League with a possible lineup? Well, with the group stages, it's now a changed system, isn't it? It's a league-style system, DJ Classic Tunes. But with the possible lineup of maybe Neto, Eze, Bergvall, Gray, Bentancur, Madison. Well, if we had Neto and Eze, mate, that'd be fantastic. But I can't see that one happening, dude. You want to sell Son? Are you mad? Lol. Yeah, definitely not me. I'm not. Even just hypothetically, where would Delhi even play for us? Wing, cam, false 9. He'd probably play as the 10 or the 8. I would only replace him with Isaac or Gordon, and even then, I don't know if I'm not replacing Sonny this season. I'll just leave it with that. Right. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk Chiesa because that's all you shouted about in this comment section. By the way, if you're watching this, you're not live. The comments, I'd say every say 2 to 3, it's someone saying something about Chiesa. So let's talk about Chiesa because that's why you're here, evidently. So Fabrizio Romano put out this morning about just after 9 a.m. So about three and a bit hours ago. He said that Juventus' decision on Federico Chiesa is clear. Plan to sell the winger this summer with contract expiring in the June of 2025. Thiago Motta does not see Chiesa as part of a key part of his project, looking for solutions. So there was that. But actually, I did see it even earlier this morning. I saw it, actually. And actually, do you know what? It's from a Chelsea page. So shout out Chelsea pages for that. And they said Juventus are willing to sell Chiesa for 16 to 21 million pounds this summer. Now, hold the phone. Sorry, I've just seen a comment on Rabiot. No, I don't want Rabiot. I wouldn't want Rabiot for free. I wouldn't want him at all. Okay. There you go. It's an easy one to answer back. I've been quite clear on Rabiot. I'm not keen on Rabiot at all. But with Chiesa, the golden questions I always ask, and if you're new, you may not know these questions, is 1, does he make us better? And 2, does he make us considerably better? So, for example, if we sell a player for someone that's going to make us a bit better, was that worth it compared to a guy that we think can make us really better? Okay. So Chiesa makes us better. We can all agree. Does he make us considerably better? Yes, absolutely. Fit or not, you're talking 20 million pounds. Yes, okay, the wages, it would be decent, but 20 million pounds. Got an Italian revolution, a Serie A revolution at Spurs. You have Kulusevski, you have Bentancur, you have Dragosin and Romero, who are all former Juventus players. You have Vicario and Destiny Doue as Italian internationals right now. Also, how the hell is Vicario not starting ahead of Donnarumma? I'll never understand. Donnarumma, one of the most overrated keepers I've ever seen. Moving on from that, though, if this is true, I'm going to need Don Paratici to come in here and let him cook. Just say to Fabio, Juventus, Chiesa, sort it. And he's like, Oh, let me cook. He just brushes himself down and goes, I had a lovely English breakfast this morning. All right, let's do this. Where's Agnelli? Let's get him on the phone. Spurs should be on all over this. But then I also think, what top team wouldn't be all over this? You could easily see a Chelsea being on this. Man United, I mean, he's better than every Man United winger there is at the moment, so they should be on this. Liverpool, you could see Liverpool potentially being on this. Yeah, maybe not City. I don't think he's a City style player. I don't think Villa need him because of obviously Diaby and Bailey. If you're looking into the Bundesliga, I don't see Juventus. I don't see Bayern being in here for him. Dortmund, don't think so either. Spain, you could see Atletico Madrid being all over this, to be fair. Barca maybe if they sold Torres, but they're not, it wouldn't be Real Madrid, you know. So a lot of teams will be in for him, you know. I like how Spurs are not getting conned by the likes of Bologna or AC Milan if they can't get a fair price. True. Let's not bend over for these people. We do need Sonny succession planning, though. We do. And there will be. Is Chiesa actually worth 25 million? Yes. He's not a player that you want personally. Fair enough. If he joins, we'll get the Spaghetti Mafia version. You're late. What did you miss? Well, Liam, you're 25 minutes late. We've talked about a lot, Liam, to be honest. A lot. Scott Parker is... Yeah, I've talked about that. Gray can play as a right fullback. I think Chiesa, Eze, Fofana, Tony, we can be on for another level. Potentially. What's happening with Prachi, by the way? Is he still with us? Yeah. He's still suspended from world football, but he's allowed to act as an advisor in transfer deals. So he's allowed to like set up meetings and like things like that, but he's not actually allowed to do the deals. That'd be Johan Lang, Levy, and so on. Do you want me to show you the tweet? It's Fabrizio Romano, mate. I don't know if you needed to have anyone to give you the exact situation. Let me find it for you. I'll put the link in the chat so you can see it. Jadon Philogene has actually rejected Barcelona, and he's choosing supposedly like the lower league teams in the league, Everton's and Ipswich's and Palace and things like that. Palace is not lower. That's their mid-table, to be fair. It's a bit harsh. Where is it? Here we go. It's on Twitter. If anyone's not too sure about this, there you go. Click on that link and it'll show you. I think Vicario is far better than any Italian goalkeeper. Yeah, he should be number one easily. If he's 21 million, what is the downside? Oh, probably the wages. I mean, what do they... Let's have a look. See if I can find... See if I can find anything. Okay. I think I've found some on this. Let me just convert it to pounds. So he's on about 150 grand a week gross, which gross means before tax hits it. 150 grand, which is basically what Maddison's on at the moment. That's kind of money he's on, you know? Wow, it's actually true. OMG. Yeah, I know, right. Hey, Donna, you're right. As he talk. Yeah, thanks, Dean, mate. Dean's done my work for Liam. If you weren't sure what we talked about, Dean's just in the chat put what we've talked about, all right? I asked everyone earlier on because I said I'm not going to remember everything, so I need someone to do it for me. Which, Dean? Cheers, Dean, mate. Appreciate that. Big man. Absolute legend. Also, by the way, the 5 p.m. game, the Spain-Germany game, which it is, I'm not being stupid. We're doing a live watch-along for that, by the way, on the second channel. Okay, I will be creating the link for it in a bit. So the second channel, by the way, the link to the second channel is there. Please subscribe. Join us for about 4:45. We're going to be watching the Spain-Germany game together. Chatting. We're going to chat all types of football. It's not just about Spurs. We chat all types of football, all types of nonsense, any topic in the world. We're going to talk about it on there whilst watching the game together, which would be nice. All right, mate. We do not want Federico Chiesa. The reason Juventus are willing to let him go for so cheap, his best days are behind him. Like you said, he will want ridiculous wages. I'm not sure he'll want ridiculous wages, but you know, the wages will be decent. The thing is with that is Paratici, I believe, was the guy that signed him for Juventus. I believe. Don't hold me to that. Okay, but I'm pretty sure he did. So Prachi obviously is a believer in him. He is Italy's potentially best player attacker wise, potentially. It's if he suits Ange ball. That's the key thing here. Does he suit Ange ball? A lot of you guys want a winger that can beat a player. Federico Chiesa is the guy. It is true, Chris. Yes. The watch along will be class. Yeah, Les, mate. It'll be absolutely unreal. I'm looking forward to the watch along. It'll be good. We're going to be chatting all kinds of rubbish for a couple of hours. We will still aim to do a 7 p.m. stream on here, by the way, just to let you know. We'll still aim to do the 7 p.m. stream here. It may be 5-10 minutes late. I'll obviously have to take a 5-minute detox from the screen. But yeah, we'll definitely still talk later on here as well. If we're talking about why players, they should be rapid. Is Chiesa his place or lack of would be a concern? He's more of a tricky speed. I mean, he absolutely ruined England in the Euros final. You know, you could tell as soon as he was getting the ball, England couldn't handle him. Terrible. It's a suspended game ban. Won't hit Switzerland. Why is he suspended? For the gesture when he's after he scored? He'll be a suspended 1-match ban for within the year. So I think it'll just be a friendly that they'll take it for against like the Faroe Islands that no one cares about. You know, so they'll do that. So yeah, some really good stuff in there today. Obviously, well, let's do a poll. Actually, let's do a poll. I want you to choose between Neto and Chiesa. Now you got to remember, Neto's going to cost 45.50. It's the poll's not working, is it? Yeah, good to see. The chat just stopped working for me. Didn't want to do it anyway. I'll bring up the stream on my phone so I can still see you all. Basically, the poll was going to be just in the chat. If you could do it, choose between Neto is going to be about 50, I'd say, and Chiesa that's 20. Call it 25. Choose who you would pick between that. Neto 50 or Chiesa for 25. For some reason, my live stream has not allowed me to do the poll, which is a bit annoying. Do you think Dele Alli can get back in the Premier? Yes, I do. Davide Tamburini. What a name. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I do think he will. Neto, Chiesa, neither. Yep. Neto, Chiesa, Neto, Chiesa, Neto. Hell no. Neto, Chiesa. This is even. This is quite even. So people really rate Neto. Apparently, Napoli are set to complete the deal to sign Alessandro Buongiorno. Neto, the one that doesn't have a hefty injury record. Well, they are both pretty ravaged by injuries at times. Are we still going for a CDM number 6? And could it be Fofana? Fofana's on the list. Spurs, Ange has already said himself, he doesn't look as midfielders as a 6, 8, or 10. He looks at them as a midfielder. So we'll see what happens from there. Neto doesn't score enough. Neto's better, but injuries. Chiesa. Do you know what? This is quite even, to be honest. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Netos. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Chiesas. That's pretty damn close. May as well keep Lo Celso and Solomon. Too far, Dragon. Too far. Solomon is definitely not good enough compared to these two. Chiesa. So 6 all. Interesting. Fantastic stuff. I'm being a levy here. It's the fee for me. Well, there's that. And also, does going for a Chiesa, knowing that the deal's going to be quite cheap compared to Neto, would they then go, right, well, actually, we can go and get that fullback. We can go and get that other centre back. We can spend a bit more money here. Maybe that's the way to do it. If you went to let's say they went Chiesa and Doue, for example, the deals cost about maximum 60 million, but let's say it's 50 million. I'm going there. I'm doing it. And then, do you know what? I'll go, great. We've spent 50 million. We spent 40 million on Archie. Great. We've got 3 players for 90 million. I think we still spend about 110 million more. You could do that over 3 players. I can go and get a striker for, say, 45, 50. I've got 60 million for 2 other players, 30 million each. That's not outrageous. That really isn't. And obviously, sales would be a big part of that. You still need to sell Emerson. You still need to sell Reguilon, Højbjerg, Lo Celso. Still got a lot of work to do there to make that kind of summer happen. Do you think we get a striker this window? I'm not sure. Hrashev Shrestha. Whoa, what a name. I'm not sure, mate. Doue, would we get both Doue and Chiesa? If we do, we're definitely not getting Eze. Yeah, well, if we went for Neto, we're not going Eze. Rather go big on a quality striker. Striker this window, Kane. Yeah, Kane would be all right. Do you reckon we get Kane? He looks like he'd be all right in the Premier League. Maybe we have to put a little offer in. Can we have Kane for 15 million plus Brian Hill? So, yeah, plenty of good stuff in that video. Thank you all so much for joining me. I'll be back tonight around about 7 p.m. to talk about more Spurs here. But obviously, on the second channel, I will be there doing the watch along at about 4:45. So please join me to watch the Germany-Spain game. We'll be doing some more interactive, fun stuff on there. So I'll see you all in just over 4 hours on the second channel, the Andy Levy YouTube channel. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you all very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your afternoons. See you later.